morning, everyone. My name is Karen Coote, and I am your facilitator for part one of the new member orientation today. I will be spending the next hour and a half to 2 hours with you, going over all the great things that West San Gabriel Valley Association of Realtors has to offer. Um, with that, a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Karen Coote, and I've been with West San Gabriel Valley Association of Realtors since 2014. I've been very actively involved. I do work for Keller Williams Executive out in Alhambra, and I am currently also the treasurer of our association for 2020. So part one, your membership and ethics. So, to receive orientation credit, you must stay for the entire orientation program. This program has been split into two sections, which I'm covering part one today, and my colleague Leon Townsend will be covering part two after a break that we're gonna have. The attendance will be monitored via Zoom during the online training session. And in order to receive your new member orientation refund, you must also complete the NAR Code of Ethics training for new members. As you can see here, to complete the Code of Ethics training, you will visit www.nar.realtor and click on Education and then Code of Ethics training, and then for new members, click Take the Course Now and follow the prompts. Our mission statement at the West San Gabriel Valley Realtors. Our mission is to advocate and embrace the interests of realtors, to promote adherence to the Realtor Code of Ethics and professional competency to members, to safeguard and preserve private property rights, always mindful of cultural backgrounds within our communities. Our association actually covers 5 different cities, which includes Monterey Park, Temple City, Alhambra, Rosemead, and San Gabriel. We do have different media outlets. We have Facebook at wsgv.realtors. We do have Instagram at WSGVR. We also have a YouTube channel, West San Gabriel Valley Realtors. And we also have a text message for updates. So this is really important, guys. So if you guys have a moment, please take out your phone and type in 72727, and this will subscribe you to our text alert for our weekly breakfast meetings and any red alerts that we get from C.A.R, I believe, for a call to action. So it's really important so that you could stay up to date with all the happenings all the happenings at WSGVR, and just stay informed. We also have Twitter too, WSGVR, and of course our website, WSGVAR.com. It's a great website where you can learn about everything that's going on within our communities and any classes and any updates in the real estate industry. So your realtor membership at West San Gabriel is actually a 3-way agreement. At the very top, you have WSGVR. Actually, I should start at the very bottom. The very bottom is the National Association of Realtors, which is a realtor association that is nationwide. And within that, there's also the California Association of Realtors, which is just strictly for all across California. And then we drill down to the local level, which is West San Gabriel Valley Association, West San Gabriel Valley Realtors. So your membership dues pays for this 3-way agreement. And being a member of WSGVR, you're automatically a member of California Association and also National Association of Realtors, which gives you the right to use the trademark, the Realtor R, on your emails. You can wear the pins and I believe use it on your marketing too. Speaking of the trademarks, these are top 5 things that you need to know. So Realtor equals a member of NAR. Members can use the Realtor trademarks with, limitations. Non-members may not use the Realtor mark. Design standards for Realtor marks must be followed. And the Realtor marks can be used on the internet and in marketing, as I mentioned earlier. If you want more specific rules and regulations in using this trademark, you can visit the link that is listed right here through the NAR website. All right, moving right along. So your member benefits. We do have a lot of training and classes that we do offer, education courses, I should say, that we offer here at West San Gabriel. That is one of the primary things that we pride ourselves on in regards to what we offer to our members. We do offer, some of them are free, some of them are very low cost. But here are a few examples. The Zip Form Plus training, which teaches you how to use the Zip Forms, which is the system that we use to generate purchase contracts, listing agreements, and any other applicable disclosures and advisories or addendums that are related to a real estate transaction. We do have a C.A.R. MLS matrix training, which is a training that teaches you how to use the MLS system. We also offer a 45-hour license renewal, which is when every 4 years you have to renew your license. There are some credit courses that you do need to take. Commercial seminars. We even have designation classes, such as the senior real estate specialist class. We have commercial designation classes that we offer here as well. And of course, due to COVID-19, our association has an array of online classes and trainings and videos. And those the video library can be found at our website, wsgvr.com/training-videos. There's also a lot of discounts that are offered with your membership. When it comes to education courses, C.A.R. member benefits and NAR member benefits. You can even get discounts, I believe, on health insurance through California Association of Realtors. I believe there's also cell phone discounts, printing discounts, and things like that, should you need to use them. Member networking. So our association does have many different committees. And one of the committees that we have is actually the special events / membership committee. And they put together special events throughout the year, such as membership or member appreciation week, where it's our way of saying thank you to our members for being a member of this association. There's also weekly breakfast meetings. There used to be caravan, not right now. And also breakfast meetings as well. We can't have them in person, but we do have them virtually every Thursday from 9 to 10, I believe. And we also have other additional informative meetings. Well, not every Thursday, but through Zoom, we have them throughout the weeks. There's also previously, prior to COVID, we did have other cultural events such as Chinese New Year, the Lunar New Year Festival. There's Cinco de Mayo. We also celebrate 4th of July, Veterans Day. We have I believe, a really big end of the year holiday Zoom that's coming up. And I want to say it is on December. I want to say it's December 17th, but I could totally be. Oh, actually, you know what? Maybe it is December 17th. December 17th, because that looks like that's the last Friday before Christmas Eve. Is that right, Angie?
That is correct.
Thank you. So make sure you go back to the text. What is this? This text. Text WSGVR to 72727 to get the latest updates and the times, and register for the breakfast meeting. There's a lot of informative topics that go on every week at the association during the breakfast meeting. So it's a really great way to stay informed and get educated, especially if you're newer into this industry. Member services. So we do have a real estate service center at the association. Because of COVID right now, it's off limits to the public, and it's really by appointment only. There is I believe, this online store on our WSGVR website where you can buy sign writers, flags, flyer holders, shoe covers. If you wanted to do printing at our office, or at the, not our office, I'm sorry, at the association, It's very cost competitive compared to if you brought it to like a Staples or like an Office Depot. As you can see here, if you need to have things printed, you can email membership@WSGVR with your member number, flyer quantity, and pickup time, and they will try their best to accommodate to print and have it available at the time that you desire. So as you can see here on the bottom, it does say because of COVID-19, the offices are closed. However, you can still shop online and you can pick it up at the association once you've made your order through the online store. Angie, do we have anybody that has any questions right now in the chat box?
No, not as of yet.
Okay, thank you. We also have free electronic versions of the C.A.R standard forms, and there is also a transaction management system through zip forms that you can use. For more information on that, you can visit C.A.R for zip form products. We also do e-key services. For those of you who have not set up your e-key yet, this is the access for you to have access to obtain keys from that blue box that you see here on the screen, right over here. It is an app that you download to your phone, and there is a monthly subscription. I believe it's very low cost, but this will give you access to all the lock boxes that are in the when you show homes to your clients. Professional. Oh, you know what? Before I do the professional development, I believe there is a gentleman that has a question about logging in to pay dues to pay dues.
Yes, I'd be more than happy to answer that question.
Thank you, Angie.
Yes.
And Frank, yes, it is from 9. I believe it's from 9 to 1 today, correct?
Yes.
Because Leon's coming in for the second portion, correct?
It is from 9 to 1, yes.
Thank you. Okay, professional development.
There's a question about the store.
Yes, from THAQ.
Yes. So every new member gets a new member email, and in that email includes your ID to sign into the store and your temporary password. So your new member email will have that temporary password, and then you sign in. One thing to remember is your sign in for the online store. You want to just put the numbers of your user ID, not the WS, just the numbers. So that might be why. If you're having any other issues, give us a call and we'll help you at the office.
Thank you, Angie. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier in the previous slides, there are a lot of different designations that NAR offers. And here is a list of some of the designations that NAR offers, such as one of the more popular ones is the SRS Seller Representative Specialist. I believe it's a 3-day, well, it used to be 3 days. I don't know what it is now because of COVID, but it is a 3-day course when we used to do it in person, and it goes through how to be a seller representative specialist. I actually recently just took the SRES, the Senior Real Estate Specialist. That's also very, another really popular course to take to get that designation. It talks about how to help seniors who are looking to sell their home or to buy their home. What are some of the challenges and steps that they go through so that you can be mindful in helping them. So there's a lot of different designations you can get. I believe I want to say the green designation is also a very popular one as well. I believe it's a 1-day course, and that green designation is, I believe, for energy efficiency. And I can't remember exactly what it is for, but I just know it has to do with being energy efficient. I guess, being able to identify what's energy efficient and not, and what isn't. So there are a lot of different designations that and these, I believe, you can find all through NAR sorry, and is it real, NAR.realtor. They're very cost effective. I believe right now they do have a sale that's going on, so you can get it for a very, very good discount to get these designations. And it's also really great to help you build knowledge as you get into this industry. Commercial services. So on top of real estate, on top of residential real estate, there's also commercial real estate as well. And we do have over 85 commercial members. And we also have a committee within the committee. The education committee does have a lot of commercial real estate classes and seminars that they hold. So as you can see here, we do have monthly seminars. They're free to attend for members and non-members. We do have monthly trainings for commercial tools. We have an annual residential development and land use series, which is a really great class. I actually got an opportunity to take it myself, I believe last year, and it was a series of, I believe, 6 classes, and it was really, really great. And I encourage any of you who are, I would encourage you who are wanting to learn more about it to attend those classes as we have them. And if you do have more information regarding our commercial services, visit WSGVR.com, or you can call the association or email the membership to get more information. I do see a few people who are asking some questions, Angie. So should we address them now?
If you'd like.
Okay. So I see one from Cindy. I'm sorry if I butcher your name. Cindy Tong. Let's see, regarding the requirement to completion of sexual harassment prevention 2020, she took the course and have the certificate. Does she just email it to you?
So there's nothing that the association needs regarding that course. That is for brokers and their employees or agents. So you definitely want to get in contact with your broker to let them know that you've completed that. We offer the course should you need to take it.
Thank you, Angie. And then I see, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Viri Diana or Diana. How would I know if my license is under, excuse me, it was under commercial? There was a correction that needed to be made on my application. Not sure if it was corrected. So your realtor license actually through the DRE is just a license. It doesn't fall whether if it's commercial or residential. So I'm not sure if that's what you're referring to. And as far as the application, were you talking about your application at the association or another application? Your application with the association. Angie, that's a
Yes, I'll take that.
question.
Thank you for your question, Viridiana. Just like Karen said, your license and your membership here as a realtor does not specifically distinguish between commercial or residential. You do have the option of stating your area of expertise, which I believe we did change for you to commercial. Now, the National Association of Realtors does offer a commercial designation and membership, but that is separate from the membership that you have right now. Please call the office should you like more specific information regarding this for you specifically.
And then we have John who's asking about the sexual harassment. Hey, this is great. I have Angie here who's answering all the questions.
Yes. Please speak to your broker regarding the sexual harassment, because the sexual harassment requirement is for employers and their employees. So you definitely want to speak to them, your broker.
So Angie, let me ask you a question. So
Yes.
as realtors, we're technically, well, we're not even technically, we are independent contractors to the brokerage. So does that mean are we considered as quote unquote employees as well, and where we actually do need to take the sexual harassment training, or is it just actual employees that are on payroll?
So excellent question. So I did a little bit of research because I knew this question was going to come up. And as independent contractors, you are not required to take the sexual harassment course on the surface. However, you do count towards the quote unquote a number of people under supervision of your broker. So for example, an employer must have all employees take the sexual harassment course if they have 5 employees. Independent contractors count towards those 5. So if you have 5 independent contractors and no employees, you may not have to take the course. But if a broker has 5 independent contractors and 1 employee, they may be required to take the course. This is why you definitely want to speak to your broker, because they will give you the definite answer based on their business practices.
Got it. So my recommendation to everyone is just take the class. It's educational, so that, you know, whether it's you who are afraid that you may be doing something wrong, or doing something that may have someone feel uncomfortable, or if you you know, you had an interaction with somebody else that made you feel uncomfortable, then you would kind of know where it falls and just how to carry yourself, if should well, God forbid, of course, that any of these unlikely situations were to happen. Let's see. There's also Sandy, who had asked, if I have to renew my license by the end of June 2021, can I use the free 45 hours licensing renewal provided by WSGVR?
Yes, please do. Please note that the free 45-hour license renewal is provided by the California Association of Realtors. So in your new member email, you'll have the information needed to create your profile and take advantage of that great member benefit.
I made the mistake of not taking advantage of it. So make sure you guys take advantage of it, because if you actually pay, I want to say it was like $120. I could totally be wrong about that, but I remember having to pay a fee. So take advantage of the 45 hours free license renewal that's provided by WSGVR. Here you will see your 2020 board of directors. We have our president, Mindy A, our vice president, Ling Chow, myself, the treasurer, and Lorraine Clark, the secretary, and Giuseppe Venenziano, our immediate past president, Yin Burr, Carla Joseph, Earl Knudsen, Brian Chen, and Vince Venenziano are our directors. So if you ever happen to see them on any Zoom calls, or any of the classes, feel free to say hi to them. I'm sure they would love to meet our new members. And you know, if you ever have any questions, you can also refer to staff, or if you happen to see them and you had a question about how to get involved, you can feel free to reach out to any one of us. So at West San Gabriel, we do have a lot of different committees, as I mentioned earlier. Some of the standing committees that we have is education, who is in charge of organizing all the classes and trainings and trainings, and any type of designation classes for our members. We also have the finance committee that oversees the finances of the association. We do have a grievance committee. So if you had a complaint about another realtor, you file an official complaint, it would go to grievance. We also have a legislative committee, which is one of our most important committees. And that is very near and dear to my heart. But I will talk a little bit more about it in a little bit. We also have membership and special events committee, which what they do is they organize special events and for our association, such as I mentioned earlier, like the Chinese New Year celebration, the Cinco de Mayo, 4th of July, Member Appreciation Week, which has historically been pretty big. It's just our way to say thank you to our members for being a member and to be part and being active in our association. There is also the the Multiple Listing Service and Technology Committee. They're primarily, excuse me, I'm so tongue-tied this morning. They primarily do the breakfast meetings every Thursday, and they come up with topics and also guest speakers. There's also professional standards, and there is also strategic planning. Some of the special committees that we also have at our association is the affiliate committees. So for those of you who are new to our industry, affiliates would be anybody who are like lenders, title companies, escrow, home warranty, home inspection companies, termite companies, natural hazard disclosure, reps. Those make up our affiliates, and they're also a very important part of our association because they are very active within our association, and they do also provide a lot of training, and classes to help educate our members at our association. There's also the bylaws and rules and regulation committees. There's also a global business council. Global Business Council is a very special committee. Throughout the years, we have gotten many designations through NAR in recognition of the efforts that our association makes to, how should I put this, to network and build relationships with other associations throughout the world. And we also have orientation, which is this committee where we put on, we present and put training through orientation on what the ins and outs of West San Gabriel. We also have a premises committee, Sergeant in Arms, and the Young Professionals Network, which is also another committee that is very near and dear to my heart. So if you guys have any questions about any of these committees, please feel free to reach out to staff, to Albert, or even myself to give you more information or to put you with the or put you in touch with the right person to give you more information about any of these committees. Next we have, hold on, was that right? Okay, next we have staff. So Albert Tran is our executive officer. So he oversees the whole entire function of our association. We also have Angelica, who is helping me today with facilitating this training. She's awesome. She's our operations manager. We have Karen Snow, who is our accountant. We have Belin, who is our communications and events manager. We have Fong, who's our education and store person. And we have Christine, and we also have Susan. These ladies and gentlemen, or well, Albert's a gentleman, but these ladies play a very integral part of our day-to-day functions at the association. And if you ever call in, one of these individuals will pick up and they will try their best to assist you in any way they can. Does anybody have any questions? So as I mentioned earlier, we do have an affiliate member. We do have affiliate members, and we have an affiliate committee. And as I mentioned before, these are the list of the affiliates or the types of industries that our affiliates come from. We have a lot of lenders, title companies, escrow, insurance, home warranty, home inspection, any other real estate related companies. They're all here as our members, and at the same time, they're here to support you and your business and your real estate transactions. C.A.R. and NAR annual events. So every year, California Association of Realtors, we hold California Association of Realtors hold 3 business meetings every year. As you can see here, we have one in the wintertime, we have one in the spring, and we do have one in the fall. And because of COVID-19 this year, our spring meeting, which happens in April, and our fall meetings were virtual. It was a lot of meetings, but they're also very, very informative. There are over 100 local associations, and there's 32 regions in California, and our region happens to be region number 16. So during these business meetings, we do talk about things that affect our industry, anything from Prop 15, Prop 19, which we just voted on in our last election that happened not too long ago. Those directly affected the real estate industry. During these meetings, we also talk about anything that we see within our local communities where we think it may affect not us locally, but also statewide. And we work with legislators to come up with legislation, lobby for legislation to protect home ownership rights. So if you would like more information about what these meetings are about, please visit CAR.org and you will find more information about our business meetings that we hold 3 times a year. There's also a very good benefit to being a CAR, a member of CAR. They also have a legal hotline, which provides one-on-one free legal advice from CAR attorneys regarding the real estate practice. So, for example, if you're in a transaction where doesn't matter which party you represent, if you have any legal questions, you can call this number that's listed here on this slide, and you walk them through your scenario, and they will be able to give you some guidance, legal guidance, because they are attorneys, so that you can help and do your best fiduciary duty to your clients. Angie, do we have any questions? My chat box keeps disappearing.
No, I don't. I don't have any questions, and all of the questions I had, we answered already, or I've answered in the chat.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Angie.
Of course.
Okay, so the next one is the National Association of Realtors. There are 54 state associations and 13 regions in the United States. And California Association of Realtors is in region 13. There are a few NAR events that happen annually. First is the legislative meetings that usually happens in May. And then there's also the national conference that happens in November. I believe it just passed, correct, Angie? So in the May's meetings, the National Association of Realtors and the NAR directors go and lobby with our federal representatives in California. So we have, I believe in our region, it's Judy Chu, who's our congresswoman, and we do have a really good relationship with her in terms of being able to promote legislation and bills that we think will benefit our industry, help protect home ownership rights. One of the things that we recently actually lobbied for and got an extension for is the National Flood Program. And NAR, this is just an example. So NAR is actually working very diligently with all the congressmen and senators to see how we can make this National Flood Program an extended program instead of having to renew it each year. So that's very near and dear. That is something that's very important for homeowners when it comes to flooding, the flood insurance, because it can get really costly. So that's just an example of one of the things that we're trying to lobby right now. Other things that we've tried to lobby in the past, but unfortunately we didn't get exactly what we want, but the legislators and the realtor party did come into the middle ground too, is the property tax. Previously, it used to be there's no cap on how much you can deduct off of your taxes. Now, I believe it's up to $10,000. So those are just some of the things that we do as realtors, whether it's at the local level, state level, or federal level, is some of the things that we do lobby about. And the next thing is RPAC, the National Association of Realtors, has a political action committee. And we're not Democrats, we're not Republicans. We stand in the realtor party. So we advocate for home ownership rights. We advocate for anything that has to do with real estate that we feel that is going to help homeowners, future homeowners, and existing property owners. So what is RPAC? So RPAC, what we do is we raise and spend money to elect candidates who understand and support their interests. The money to accomplish this comes from voluntary contributions made by realtors, and these are not members' dues. This is money that's given freely by realtors in recognition of how important campaign fundraising is to the political process. RPAC doesn't buy votes. RPAC enables realtors to support candidates that support the issues that are important to our profession and our livelihood. So what is RPAC? Let me play this really short video so that you get a better understanding.
It's changed, but they never end. We fight something and we are victorious in that fight, and 2 years later we find that it's back on the ballot. We have to constantly fight that battle, even sometimes behind the scenes where members aren't really realizing that we're still fighting that battle every day.
Whether it be flood insurance, or interest rates, or FEMA, property taxes, capital gains, 1031 exchanges, they all impact some aspect of our business. Taxes on services, things that we oppose. RPAC helps us fight for those issues.
The issues that we fight are constantly evolving and changing. Every year it's something new. We can never give up. We can never slow down. We have to always be there and be present and make sure that our voices are heard.
You can have everyone being happy, you can almost see the finish line. You never know that one unexpected thing's going to happen that's going to change everything. And investing in RPAC helps you get the team fixing it. As she started affecting my business, my investments grew. And the more that I learned about it, the more I wanted to be involved.
Get involved, whatever level you can, whether it be $15 level or $30 level, it makes a difference. And you'll start seeing the results and become engaged and help our legislators and elected officials understand that you care about the issues and want you to create a better environment for the state.
So does anybody have any questions about the RPAC? It is a very, one of the very important things that we do, not only as an individual, but also as to contribute to our industry. A lot of times we can't physically actually go advocate, but this is another way of us being able to, sorry, I gotta scroll through all of this. Being able to contribute and fight for a lot of things that do impact our industry. So it's a voice for real estate. It helps realtors and communities and evaluate the future and close. Normally you would get a package at orientation, but however, because we're doing things virtually, I don't believe you guys get this package anymore. But here you can see that there's different ways of contributing to the Realtor Political Action Committee Fund. I personally do contribute myself because I do understand the importance of fighting for laws and regulations that will benefit not only our industry, but also benefit our clients who may be property owners. So whether it's commercial real estate or residential, a lot of the laws that get passed at the federal level does impact our clients in more ways than you can think. The next fund that we have is a Realtor Action Fund, and this is for within the state of California, and this fund fights for our profession. So as you can see here, one of the most important services in organized real estate is representation in the halls of government. The Realtor Action Fund raises money to advocate our goals of our Realtor Political Action Committees at the local, state, and federal levels of government. Also known as RAF, we support or oppose candidates for elected office who understand or don't understand realtor issues respectively. Actually, I can't even think of any candidates right now that we've supported that haven't supported realtor issues. So, but that is a lot of the money goes towards supporting candidates who advocate for realtor issues. And here you will see that there are different levels of contributing. One of the ways, if you really do want to see what it's like, and what does this PAC money go towards, as I mentioned earlier, every spring we do have a business meeting, and that's usually held in Sacramento. It's about a week long, and there's one specific day where we label it as Legislative Day. Is where we as realtors all across the state go and meet with our local legislator or state legislators. In our jurisdiction, we have Ed Chow, and we partly have Grace Napolitano, and we go to their office and we share with them issues that are coming down the pipeline through whether it's the Senate or the Assembly, to talk about whether we support or oppose to them, and we tell them why. And meetings usually very engaging, where we get a chance to really discuss issues regarding real estate with our legislators. And it's our way to implore and encourage them to vote one way or the other, and we give them factual reasons why. And you'll see here that there's different ways to, like I said, there's different ways to contribute. Many members at our association do contribute every year, some more than others, but that's okay. It's really whatever you can do to help with this fund and to help our lobbyists lobby for things that are important to our industry. Realtor safety. NAR has a wealth of resources to help agents, brokers, and associations to better understand and educate each other about the risks and safety that they face. So from planning your safety strategy to extensive safety resources, including apps, products, and educators, NAR has many useful items for the real estate professionals, including regularly scheduled safety webinars and numerous articles organized by category, videos, and safety alert program. NAR also offers Safety Matters, Safe Business Equals Smart Business, a free course to state and local realtor associations. Many of you may or may not know, but the realtor profession is probably the second or top 5 most dangerous professions out there. And you all must be wondering, well, what do you mean? A lot of times, pre-COVID, we used to be able to do open houses, whether and door knock and go prospect for clients. And, you're putting yourself in a very dangerous situation because you're doing the open house by yourself. And you have these strangers that walk in and you don't know what they're going to do. Some may come with their agents, some may not. So it's about realtor safety. There have, these last few years, we've seen on the news that there have been realtors who have unfortunately had who've passed away because of whether they got murdered or whether they got attacked, by meeting clients and things like that. So there's a lot of videos and safety webinars that teach you different techniques and best practices so that you can make sure that you're going to be safe while you're trying to carry out your job. I do see here, let's see here. Oh, you know what? Angie already answered it. So if you guys do have any questions in regards to realtor safety, there's a lot of tools and resources that you can find at the NAR website and also this C.A.R. website. And I believe we do have some videos in our YouTube channel at the local level as well.
As a real estate professional, you are in a unique position that most working professionals never face. In your business, you often share your contact information openly with others, meet unknown clients, walk through vacant properties, to name a few. Nature of this business that it's critical for all real estate professionals to have personal safety protocols in place to follow every every day, with every client, every time. So what kind of safety protocols should you implement into your daily routine? Here are a few to consider. When meeting a client for the first time, do not meet a new client at a property right away without first having an initial meeting at your office or public space like a coffee shop. During the initial meeting, make copies or take photos of the client's driver's license and pre-approval letter for your records. This precaution allows you to keep a record of the office of who your clients are, their information, and a calendar of appointments. When first meeting with a new client, you should discuss the types of real estate they're interested in and walk them through the safety protocols you have in place for all clients. Now you can arrange showings, meet them at properties, and schedule open houses to help them through the biggest financial decision of their life. When viewing a property, it's okay to ask your client to drive separately. This is a safety precaution for you as much as it is for them, not to mention you might both have appointments to go to before or afterward. As you tour a property, walk behind your client. This routine safety measure allows them to see the room first and make their own impressions. Many agents do not go into attics, garages, or basements as an additional safety measure. But encourage your client to look around and let you know what they think. It is a safe practice to only show vacant properties which might not have electricity during daylight hours. This allows you to see what safety hazards may exist, like a loose floorboard or any defects the house may have. When holding an open house, advise your clients to board their pets and remove jewelry, family photos, credit card receipts, artwork, prescription drugs, and any other valued possessions from the home in advance of the open house. This is just one way to look out for your client and to keep their property and belongings secure. Keep a record of who entered the house by asking everyone who walks in the door to sign in with their name and phone number or show a photo ID. There is something to be said about safety in numbers. Consider bringing along a colleague when holding an open house. If there are several potential buyers walking through the home, even better to have 2 agents on hand to answer questions and keep an eye on things. Safety is an important part of real estate. Be prepared and follow the protocols and processes that have been put in place to keep you and clients safe. For more information and additional resources, visit www.nar.realtor/safety.
Thank you, Angie.
Well, Karen is getting set up again. Michael asked a great question regarding E&O insurance. And I wanted to let everyone know, oh, thank you for that feedback, Frank Chen. We'll look into the video. Michael Rudis asked a question regarding E&O insurance for brokers, and the California Association of Realtors does offer insurance products. If you visit CAR.org/members/benefits/insurance, you can get more information there. The link is in the chat box.
Thank you, Angie. Here we go. Code of ethics. So this is actually a part of your orientation because you guys are going to have to take this code of ethics class to be able to get a refund, I believe, of $50. Is that correct, Angie?
That is correct.
And this is also a part of being able to sustain your membership as well at the association. So the code of ethics training is actually really, really important because it goes through the code of ethics and standard of practices that us as realtors need to adhere to. So the first section that you'll see here, the code of ethics, is the duties to clients and customers, duties to the public, and duties to other realtors. These are the guidelines and rules that we adhere by to ensure that not only are we doing our fiduciary duty to our clients, to the public, but also carry ourselves in a professional manner, an ethical manner to other realtors as well. So Articles 1-9, duties to clients and customers. Number 1, our fiduciary duties are agencies. We always put our clients first. Disclosure issues, exaggeration, misinterpretation, concealment. We always want to make sure that we do our due diligence and to act in the best faith of our clients to make sure that we do not exaggerate, we do not misrepresent information or conceal material facts that would be the decision maker of whether or not your clients, whether they sell, whether they buy, whether they lease, whether they sublet, whatever it may be. We always make sure we are interacting with our clients very truthfully. Cooperation compensations. Realtors shall not misrepresent the availability to show. Number 4, self-dealing. Disclose that you are licensed, especially if you are purchasing a property or selling a property yourself. Make sure that you do disclose that you are an active licensed realtor. Self-dealing. Prior to rendering opinion of value or other service, inform the seller of your interest to purchase, just like as I mentioned earlier. Dual compensation, make sure you disclose to all and you do get client consent. Making sure that you keep trust account records thoroughly and you account for all monies. And clear written documentation, giving copies of anything your clients have signed so that they have documentation of it. Next, Article 10-14, duties to the public, which includes fair housing, making sure you provide equal professional services and information to everyone in the public. Professional competency, meeting the standards of care for each specialization in which you provide service. Truth in advertising, making sure that you are painting a true and accurate picture. Unauthorized practice of law, unless you have a law degree and your clients are asking you a legal related question, make sure you do direct them to the correct professional. And your duty to cooperate with professional standards. I did see that there was a chat, a question, I think. There we go. Oh, where did it go? Let me see here. Oops, wrong one. This is wrong too. Let's see, where is in the chat?
Looks like someone is saying the sound is coming and going, and where do I send the ethics certificate to? You want to send your ethics certificate to membership@WSGVR.com, and I'll put it in the chat box. And please let us know if anyone else is having trouble with the sound. We welcome that type of feedback. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. All right. The section or articles 15-17, duties to other realtors. Disparaging competitors, false or misleading statements, interference with agency-client relationship of another realtor, and duty to arbitrate commission disputes. So, guys, it's really common that one of the first things that I ask when I speak with a potential client is asking them, are you working with another realtor right now? And this is especially common during open houses when we were still allowed to do open houses. If you had, buyers that walk in without an agent and you happen to be in a discussion with them and they're asking you about details of the property and things like that, you always ask to make sure that you're not overstepping any boundaries and ask them if they are working with another realtor. And if they tell you they are, then, let them know, hey, great, fantastic. You can give them the details about the property. You can let them know, any questions that they may have, whether it's offers due or how many offers they have on the table. But if it gets to more in-depth questions, you really should refer them back to their realtor so that their realtor can connect with you so that you can give them the best information possible. If they're not working with a realtor and they're looking for your representation, then that's a different story. However, you really do want to try not to overstep your boundaries, especially if you're not working with them and they're already working with another realtor in purchasing their property. I saw a couple of questions that popped up or some chats. Let's see. Oh, that's an Angie question. I'm not sure.
No worries, I answered it. So the code of ethics needs to be completed within 90 days of your membership. It is separate from your licensing. This is a separate course. It's provided by the National Association of Realtors. In your welcome email, there is a link that gives you information on how to complete that course.
Thank you, Angie.
Of course.
All right, so this actually concludes the first part of orientation. That was really quick. I thought I was going to be talking a lot and a lot and a lot. But Angie, I'm sorry, this is the first time I've done the virtual orientation. Do they get a quick break just to do kind of their thing and then they come back, or?
Yes, absolutely. So we do want to allow for a 15-minute break. So you guys can stretch, use the bathroom, do whatever you'd like, or, you know, stick around and ask me questions. It is 10 o'clock, 10:02. Let's do a 15-minute break. Let's go ahead and come back at 10:20. How does that sound?
That sounds perfect to me.
Perfect. Please note that attendance, you need to come back for the second part. Attendance will be taken when we ask you to input that you're here at on the chat.
Thank you, Angie. And so everyone, I'd like to say thank you for indulging me for the first part of orientation. The second part of orientation will be facilitated by my colleague, Leon Townsend. And if you ever have any questions about orientation or any of the committees that we do offer here at the association, please feel free to reach out to Albert or to Angie or even myself. I will be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. And I am looking forward to seeing you guys at the association when COVID is all over. So happy Friday, everybody. I hope you guys all enjoy your weekend. And I look forward to seeing you all soon, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to do a quick screen share to promote our free zip form class that is happening this Monday, November 23rd. It's going to walk you through the basics of zip forms and the contracts that you will use. If you visit our website, WSGVR.com, go under education and education schedule. You can sign up for the free class taking place Monday, November 23rd from 9:30 to 12:30. This is every month as well. So if you miss this month, you'll have the opportunity every month. Okay, we will meet back at 10:20. Thank you, everyone. All right, it is 10:20 a.m. And before we get started with part 2, hosted by Leon Townsend, I'm going to launch a poll. Go ahead and check in by selecting any one of the I am here buttons. Missing about 11 members, go ahead and select I am here. If you are having trouble with the poll, go ahead and put your attendance in the chat box and I will cross-reference that for you. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. Looks like we are all here. Leon, go ahead and take it away.
All right. Thank you, Angie. I'd like to welcome you guys to the West San Gabriel family. Welcome to part 2. You guys got the pleasure of having my friend and colleague Karen do part 1. So you guys have seen the ethics. You guys have seen the NAR video on safety. So, you know, not just safety in open houses, but I encourage you all to stay safe during this holiday season as well as this pandemic. Hopefully you guys are still able to learn about this great industry and this great business. So before I get started, I wanted to wish you guys success and prosperity and, you know, what a lot of us are fighting for, which is intergenerational wealth. So part 2, basically, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to get into the PowerPoint. Part 2 is basically about the MLS. The MLS is the presence of everything needed to help you and your clients achieve their ultimate goal, which is home ownership. So we're going to get into how the MLS started, why the MLS is needed, and what are the ways that we can fight for fair housing amongst our clients, right? So as Angie said, my name is Leon Townsend. I've been a realtor for 5 years. I've been a member of West San Gabriel that whole time. I am a trainer, so I encourage you guys to do the Zip Forms training. Zip Forms training, even though it's 3 hours on a Monday morning, bright and early, it allows you to get ahead of those that are new and even some of those that are experienced in the industry, just because of the fact that they never took the time to learn the new forms or learn templates or learn shortcuts. So before the MLS was actually created, pretty much the way that we did business was a in-person, not necessarily an argument, but it was an in-person negotiation amongst people. But the thing that also made it hard was this was also during a time where there was not a vast update of how properties were being sold or being lost amongst sellers and clients. Before the MLS, what you had to do is if your client wanted to buy, per se, in the city of Alhambra, they had to go to one office in the city of Alhambra, grab a book of all of the properties and go through and look for them and try to contact the selling agent, right? They never necessarily updated always the books. So your client could like a house from 6 months ago that was sold and now the new owner is in. So we realized there was some complete inefficiencies in how we updated or alerted people of when homes were on the market. So we decided to create a system, right, that allowed for blanket unilateral offers of compensation. So that is the MLS. So the MLS is not West San Gabriel. The MLS is a function of West San Gabriel. And what we mean by that, it is a tool that is included in your membership that helps you become the best realtor you can be. So the MLS is mainly helping us agents and realtors become and provide better service to the client and the public, because the information that we are given in the MLS is the same information that is given to the public. And we also want to make sure that we facilitate an orderly correlation of information. That is what's important, because we don't want some clients to have less information than other clients. We all want them to have the same amount of information. Now, the thing that makes the MLS unique and different than what we've had before is people from other cities can't come and do the same thing. They could also look up tax reports for property taxes. They can have, the list of owners previously so that it helps them make a decision based upon property values and anything that would come to mind that would affect a buyer or seller's decision to sell a property. So keep that in mind as well, because these are things that are important that we all will see at some point as a realtor. Now, the MLS is allowed to be joined by any active member of West San Gabriel. You guys are active members because you paid your dues, so you can have the MLS. Hopefully you guys have seen the MLS. If you haven't, I encourage you, when you have some time this week, today, this weekend, Monday, whenever, to get used to the MLS, because it is something that is important to your business, and it is fully functional and fun to look at, because even if you don't necessarily understand, you can see what homes are on the market. So any licensed broker become a participant in the MLS as well. If you're a salesperson who is not a realtor member, you have to apply for what is called a MLS only subscriber. So they don't have the realtor trademark like you guys have, so they can't put that on their marketing. They can't utilize a lot of the services that you have as a realtor. So a salesperson under a broker participant is only a subscriber. So think about your subscription services. If you're a subscriber, that means you're limited in the amount of things that you can do. You don't have access to premium or something along those lines. But being a realtor member allows you access to do updating listings, sending listings out to clients on emails, looking up Realist, which is the tax information, doing comparisons of homes in the area. You get a wide array of services that subscribers don't have. So I encourage you guys to incorporate that into your business plan for 2021, as well as for the future beyond that. So we also have our weekly networking breakfast meeting that is online on Zoom. You see every Thursday at 8:30 in person, where we will get where there will be free coffee and donuts. Now it's at 9 a.m. through Zoom, and it's an hour later, and it's online. You can network with other people in the real estate industry, and you get to learn something that is directly correlated to our industry itself, that helps us be better realtors for our clients, for ourselves, and for the public. So we also do the commercial networking as well. It's less frequent. It's the second Tuesday of each month from 12 to 2, and that's on Zoom as well. So you can see commercial listings. You could have commercial agents and realtors come and tell you what their clients are looking for, and you can learn in seemingly, if you haven't heard anything or know much about commercial, ease yourself into commercial as well. Commercial is a different market than residential. It is less competitive and a little bit more fun because you get more hands-on, and people that are interested in commercial real estate know exactly what they want compared to residential. So keep that in mind. I encourage you guys all to do it. I know Zoom takes away from the engagement a little bit and the excitement of it, but commercial is as exciting as residential. So when we have a dispute, right, there's always going to be someone has an issue with either a potential sale, a potential listing, anything that goes on in our professional realm. Most times our disputes are about money, right? So we hope that even though there might be a dispute, that you guys handle it professionally. All right, we're all going to have different perspectives on how we think things should go, but we hope as realtors and professionals in this industry that you allow for a reasonable resolution. If there is a money dispute, that goes directly to arbitration. If there is an ethics complaint, either fair housing or lack of communication or things that are clear and evident in the code of ethics that you guys went over, that goes to grievance committee, and then grievance committee reviews that to see if it needs to be taken up to professional standards that issues a fine or a warning or a knock on your license, right? So as you remember in our code of ethics, we have a responsibility, not just to the public, but we have a responsibility to ourselves, and we have a responsibility to our clients. So we have to hold ourselves in a higher regard compared to another industry or anything of that nature. So we have to make sure that we are not just policing others, but we are policing those that are close to us. Not necessarily like the police, but making sure that they understand the consequences of not doing things the right way. So if we are able to do that, we can consistently make this industry better, which is a goal for every one of us that is actively involved in the industry, that those that we know are making decisions that affect us are being punished, not necessarily losing their license, but having to take ethics courses, paying a fine, right? So when you're out there, not necessarily in the field, because I know it's hard when it comes to all the pandemic stuff, but if you are engaging with an agent through conversation, through Zoom, through an email, make sure that they are doing things the right way. And the only way for us to know if they're doing things the right way is to look at our code of ethics and understand it and basically memorize it, right? Not for heart, but for practice. So this is the step breakdown of how disputes are handled, right? If you have a money dispute, they go straight to professional standards. It doesn't go to grievance. And after professional standards, they usually submit that to the board of directors if there needs to be review from them, or the final decision if there's no need to review. An ethics complaint, like I mentioned, goes to grievance first to determine if there's a valid case, then to professional standards, right? Then either to directors review to have another set of eyes look at it, or if there's no request for review, the directors vote and ratify on the decision that professional standards has made. So disciplinary actions against MLS members are mainly for two things: breach of any duty of membership, so that's a violation of our code of ethics, or conviction by a court of any felony or crime. Our consequences are not above the law, right? So I want you to remember that anything that you do in a real estate transaction that is just a violation is not above something you do in a real estate transaction that can be considered fraud, theft, bribery, any of those things. Those felonies are, those that are considered felonies are automatic loss of license. So even if you're found not guilty or anything like that, you still have to appeal to get your license, because federal crimes are separate from the MLS, right? So if you are withholding information that may, for extortion or something like that, you automatically lose your license, but you still have to face federal consequences of your actions. Now, if you have a fair housing violation or something like that, or you have, those disciplinary actions, that's okay, as long as it's not criminal, right? The one thing that you cannot have while you're a realtor is a DUI. DUI is an automatic loss of membership, license, and everything. So anything along those lines that has to normally go to a court for them to decide your consequences is a loss of membership, right? So our real estate actions never trump federal crime. Also, you must be aware of antitrust. One thing that people used to get in trouble for a lot when I first started in this industry is using the phrase standard commissions. There is no such thing as a standard commission. All commissions are negotiable. The lowest that people can offer an agent is $1. But you will see people obviously fight for more. You can petition for a higher commission, but there's no such thing as a standard commission. There's expectations and then what people expect. Also be aware that the Sherman Act, which is a federal act in the United States, is every contract, combination in the form of trust or otherwise in restraint of trade or conspiracy is declared illegal. So we, as expected, have to be honest, forthcoming with everything that we give, as well as when it comes to money. All right, we have to make sure that anything that we do for our clients that involves them giving money, they must know all details and we cannot hide anything. All right. I'm just going to close this out for a second to see if we have any questions. Any questions so far, Angie? Just wanted to check.
I think we have any questions. We did get a little feedback. You are coming in a little broken, just sporadically, and we apologize for that. He will do his best to stay in a stable connection, but no questions as of now.
Well, that's good. That means hopefully everyone would not have any issues with this in the future, as they become more experienced in this industry. The Sherman Act is something that we don't really see many occurrences of, but it does happen. So, you know, we just encourage you guys to protect your clients as well as protect yourself. And I will get back to the antitrust screen right now. One of the things that you have to be cautious and aware of, which is happening more, especially during the pandemic, is wire fraud. So anyone that you choose to have in your transaction, just ensure that they are sending encrypted emails where they will have to log in with a password. You know, even though in our contracts we inform our clients of potential wire fraud, they may not actually see it because they're just expecting everything to come to them. So, you know, make sure you set the expectation, because once, you know, a trigger of wire fraud happens, it is really hard for them to get their money back. And they'll be expecting you to come up with that money to give back to them. So keep an eye out for everything. Make sure you read your contracts. Make sure you tell them to look at the sender address, right? But that, you know, all of our affiliates or escrow officers title and all of that will inform them as well. But just go above and beyond, right? Because you want to protect yourself and protect your clients, because that's the most important thing at the end of the day. All right. So the MLS is the largest MLS system and provider in the United States. We use C.A.R. MLS. Here are their numbers for support and their hours. So West San Gabriel, we are a member of the California Regional MLS. So there are other MLSs. It's just that this is the one that we use, that we get a lot of homes in other areas. We'll go a little bit into what we call data sharing reciprocal access. But if you have questions about the MLS directly, right, they can't answer questions about your code of ethics or anything like that. They can answer questions about your login into the MLS or things that you cannot see. Give them a call, right? They're very helpful. They're there to help us out. But just remember that there are differences between the MLS system and the system access that you have for West San Gabriel. So just keep those things in mind as you are progressing in your career and in your knowledge gathering about the differences between the two of them. So the mission of C.A.R. MLS is to deliver the most affordable, reliable, and convenient technology service available, and to provide products and services that support realtors in maximizing the use of property data for business goals. So when I was mentioning earlier about things like Realist, those are tools that, since you have access to the MLS, you get access to for free, that allow you to help your clients make educated decisions. So I encourage you guys to play around with those as well. I love RPR, which is Realtor Property Resource, that gives a full report of home, like comps in the area, taxes, school districts, and it's a PDF that you can send to your clients. And it helps them make the best decision on where they want to live. So this is the MLS coverage area of the state of California, right? Right now, as of last year, there was 145,000 real estate professionals. Since it is largest, we naturally assume that it has grown. So a data share basically means, as I was mentioning, is if you're in an area that doesn't necessarily use the same MLS, you can see exactly what normal members there see, right? If you need to send a client from here to buy property in San Diego, right, you can see the same property with the same information, but you're not limited, right? The reciprocal access basically means that you need to you have a separate login so you can see what's going on in the area if you want to refer a client to Berkeley, San Francisco, Concord, or some of those other areas that don't necessarily have the same access as we do. So as you get more advanced and more knowledgeable in the MLS world, you will see the differences, right? Because we can sell anywhere in the state of California. It is just deciding if we want to do it ourselves or refer it to somebody else. So keep those things in mind as we proceed in our careers. So these are all of the areas that we get access to homes and things that are on the market. So the first row are all the cities that we have that we can see exactly everything needed: property tax data, owners, pictures, property descriptions, things like that. The data share is the one where we can see that as well. Reciprocal means we just need to log in, but we're limited in the amount of things that we see. And then these are our additional service areas. So if you have a client that wants to buy a vacation home in Big Bear, right? I can see that, but it is encouraged for us to get a hold of an agent in the area so that we can get more information, right? So you can look up homes in Big Bear, but there's certain things that aren't listed in our version of the MLS that you would need an agent in that area to know. So some of the member benefits of you being an MLS member and paying your dues is you get access to all of these business plan and marketing tools for free. Some of the things that we have Cloud MLX, which is kind of another way for you to look at properties and submit them and market them to your clients, right? We have mobile C.A.R. MLS. I encourage you to do that. I do it all the time. It's fun. HomeSnap Pro, which is another marketing tool. MLS Touch. These are all great options for you to send properties to your clients that they can look at and touch. If you're going to a listing presentation, Cloud CMA is amazing as well. I just prefer RPR because it's a little bit easier. eProperty Watch, which allows you to look for properties in the area that are coming on market and automatically market those to your clients. Market Statistics, that allows you to see if the average price in a targeted area of yours is going up or down, as well as, you know, if there's more homes on the market than usual, if it's a great time to buy in the area, if it's not. And then one member benefit that I encourage you guys to use, because you know, some of you guys are new, some of you guys have been in for a while, is Rate Plug. So it allows you to keep track of the mortgage rates for conventional, FHA and all of that. But what it also does is it lets your clients know who your preferred mortgage advisors are. So that, let's just say that, you know, you may be out of town or you are in a meeting and they need to get a hold of a mortgage advisor because they want to get pre-approved, and because they didn't get pre-approved to you before, they can utilize that function and communicate directly with the mortgage advisor, and you don't have to be a part of it. Even though the mortgage advisor, by basic business etiquette, is going to follow up, you can facilitate that conversation so that it keeps your clients updated with the mortgage rates, right? There's a lot of uncertainty on the mortgage market at this moment, but most people are all predicting that things are going to stay the same. Some are predicting it's going up. We have no idea. So if your clients are consistently updated with updates, right, it makes your job easier. So one of the things that these benefits are meant to do is to make your business easier to function and grow. So I encourage you guys to learn them. If you log in through the, I usually go through Weston Gabriel's website to log into my MLS. You can see on the side all of the icons before you actually go into the MLS of all of the services that we can use and utilize for our business, right? So I encourage you guys to do that. Take some time. Obviously, you can't really go anywhere that much, but take some time, learn these tools, utilize them so that you can set yourself up for success in 2021, right? So I encourage you guys to utilize them. They're very easy to use, and you can get as creative as you want with them. Then we also have RPR, like I mentioned. RPR is amazing. Lion Desk is a CRM that is free for I think it's like 90 days. And then there's a premium option that gives you way more marketing materials that you can pay for. Remind is another thing that we have that mixed in with all of the information that it gives. It's a predictor. So what they do is they use a bunch of different, not necessarily demographics, but they use a bunch of different things that predict when homes are going to come on the market. So it naturally looks at a bunch of different sociological factors that predict when homes are going to come on the market, so that you're ahead of the game of to those potential sellers, right? If you want to network with new builds, you can use New Home Source Professional. I mentioned Realist before. If you have a listing and you do not want to consistently field calls about showing, and you would much rather set it up so that it's easier for you to, abide by OSHA and CDC rules, I encourage you to use Showing Time. You can see the whole calendar and people going on their own to set dates and times where they want to come in and view the property. You can accept or reject if the client is not available or if there's another appointment. So it's basically a calendar for you when it comes to your listings. And then if you want it, I'm not really too familiar with this one because I don't have a lot of international buyers. But if you have international buyers or people that want to buy that come from another country, you can use Proxio for that marketing. So I encourage you guys, the MLS is a great tool. You pay for it, use it until you can't pay for it anymore. Make sure that the value and benefit that it has is more than the cost. And that's for anything in business. Make sure that the value of the product you're purchasing is worth more than what it costs you to purchase. And then just for you being a member here at West San Gabriel, we also have free access to 2 great tools. Real Satisfied, that allows your clients to post reviews of your service, and you can publish them on your Facebook, Instagram, on your website, wherever you may be, and it's completely free. Then there's also FHA Pro that allows you to know if condos, homes are FHA approved, and helps your clients understand what FHA means. So I don't know if you guys know what FHA means. There's a lot of confusion about FHA, but FHA is a great tool for the right clients that you have to purchase properties. So it'll inform them on the purchase limits, the down payment that is needed, and gives them the ability to purchase. So keep in mind of those things. Like I said, these are all great tools for us to use in our business. I encourage you to use them to its fullest extent. Also, Lone Wolf, right? That is the company that owns our zip forms, right? We mentioned our zip form training on this Monday morning. I encourage you guys to download the app version of zip forms as well as know how to get to zip forms, right? So zip forms is not it's a benefit because we're realtors, but it's a C.A.R, California Association of Realtors function. So you can get to it from the MLS, but you also have to get to it from C.A.R. So there's a free mobile app for that. I encourage you guys to practice so that you know how to fill out a contract and what your contract actually says. So I encourage you to do so. Remember, our zip form training is Monday. It is completely free to you guys as members, and it is probably one of the most valuable things that you could do early morning. I'm not saying that because I'm a zip form trainer. but I started as a regular agent who had no idea what zip forms was. I went into zip form training, learned everything I could, learn and remember. And it takes me 8 minutes to write an offer. When I first started, it took me an hour, if I was lucky. So there's a lot of great things to learn from a zip form training. I know it's a Monday morning, but sometimes we have to make sacrifices in our business that will benefit us in the future. So I encourage you guys to do it. Angie mentioned it. It's a great resource. If you go other places, they charge, but I encourage you guys to utilize that and go. Also, keep in mind or bookmark this, since we are still in a pandemic. The C.A.R. website consistently every week updates the protocol for coronavirus, and what to do when it comes to showings and things like realtor relief and industry updates, right? This picture right here is, if you guys have clients and you're taking them to see a property, you should see this picture on the property at some point. Usually it's supposed to be, most people would say, on the front window or front door, right? So also be aware of stay-at-home orders that are coming, or this curfew. But again, guys, be safe. The safest way to be better is to know what you're expecting, and also make sure that the listing agent, as best as possible, is doing everything to keep you guys safe, right? Make sure they know if their client has been exposed or been in close contact, because that helps you out. So, but make sure that you and your client are as safe as possible, because we lose realtors for a bunch of different reasons, and I don't know if we could lose more realtors because other realtors weren't being careful. I don't think it would sit right for a lot of people, but that does not mean stop what you're doing in your business. Just make sure you're doing business carefully. So here's a few rules, just if you are going to do showings. Make sure you have a prevention plan. So I know that when I had clients that wanted to see properties during this time, I carried hand sanitizer, I carried gloves, I carried a mask, I carried even some form of sanitizer. So I wiped down everything that I touched before and after, right? If you're a listing agent, don't hold open house to walk-in basis. Keep an appointment schedule. That's why showing time is so important. And if anything, if you want to completely avoid things, do as best as you can to do a virtual showing, right? Either Zoom, FaceTime, or whatever. Make sure you do that, because that keeps you thoroughly safe. Make sure you understand what a PED form is. A PED form is a coronavirus addendum form that ensures that not only have they not been subject to close contact or exposure, right, but you have not as well. So again, the rules for entry must be posted. Everything has to be thoroughly cleaned and disinfected before and after, right? I know it seems like something that we don't usually do, because we're not usually doing a lot of things like this before this pandemic, but this is what's necessary to keep us on a path to consistent success. Open doors and windows if it's not raining, and again, use hand sanitizer before and after. RPR, which is a realtor property resource that I was referring to, you can see properties from all over the United States on or off market. You can calculate the rate of return. You can send reports from anywhere, right? Again, this is another benefit. I thoroughly hope you guys utilize it to your full advantage, because it is free and it is a great tool to use, and your clients will appreciate it.
No worries, I can bring it up if you like.
Okay, please.
And for those of you asking where you can access the PED form and the coronavirus guidelines for entry, Both of those items are on zip forms themselves. You can access it there.
Yes. Before you start, just I wanted to mention this. Zip forms is updated consistently as things change. So as long as you know where to log in, you can see all of the forms you needed. There's a search bar. The picture chart is on the C.A.R. website as well. That is all present in evidence so that it is all there for you guys to see and have access to.
All right, I'll go ahead and play the video.
As a realtor, you want the absolute best for your clients and customers. After all, buying or selling a property is one of the biggest decisions they'll make. But how can you provide them with the best information to make that decision? Typically, you could go to one place to get a few property facts, then to another place to research the local schools, and still another for local demographics. And for an even deeper dive, you could venture through several more places to learn the property history, what people are saying about the neighborhood, mortgage information, and so on. We understand you need to accurately assess what's best for your clients and customers, but the truth is, your time and money is being wasted tracking down all these facts from so many different places. That's where Realtors Property Resource comes in. RPR is the National Association of Realtors' exclusive nationwide property database for realtors. With access to over 160 million properties, RPR gives you access to the most comprehensive reports that are sure to inform and impress even the most demanding clients. No matter what your specialty is, RPR has partnered with hundreds of sources, including MLSs and CIEs across the country, to provide you with the most current, accurate, and valuable information in one centralized place. You will discover everything from school reports to census, demographics, tax data, foreclosures, mortgage information, mapping, distress data, flood zones, historic data, and so much more. That way, when your clients and customers come to you with every single question, you'll have every single answer. And because RPR is included in your NAR member dues, there is no additional cost. RPR, bringing realtors to the next level.
Thanks, Angie. Hopefully that answers all your questions about RPR. Again, the best way I learned how to utilize these is by just actually playing around with them when I had some free time. They're great resources, and I hope you guys love them as much as I do. So here's a photo of where to find them. So as you log in, they will all be on the side before you click on the matrix, which is what we call the visual dashboard for all of the homes that are on the market. So all of these are products that we use that I mentioned before that are available to you with your Realtor membership and your MLS dues and your NAR membership. So there are updated rules and regulations that get updated all the time. I encourage you guys to use this to understand what is, what you should post if you have a listing, or what other agents should be posting. If there's information that you feel is not important and it might violate some privacy act, or it's too much information, you can scroll down to the bottom and report a potential violation anonymously, right? Because remember, our duty is not only to the public, but to ourselves and to everyone else. So we have to make sure that we are doing everything possible to ensure safety, as well as ensure that we are doing what's right in our industry. So as of May 1st, we have what is now called the Clear Cooperation Policy. So within one business day of advertising a property to any member of the public, another realtor, another office, another a potential client, you have to submit the property into the MLS. So that is everything ranging from its availability, for sale signs, social media, on your company website, if you're going to share amongst different franchise like listing networks, flyers, open houses, whatever. It is your responsibility to upload that into the MLS immediately. If not, there is a fine, right? Because we want to make sure that we are not withholding information so that any person that is looking in that potential market has equal access to information to potentially purchase the property. So we also have something now which just started again in May, which is called Coming Soon, right? So Coming Soon is basically if you have an agreement for a home that's on the market, but it's not necessarily ready to be sold, right? These are things that are clear and evident issues that would prevent a sale, right? If there is, damage to the floor and it needs to be redone, foundation issues, roof issues, you can put it on coming soon status for up to 21 days. So anyone that has access to it can see if a home is on the market, if there's some minor tweaks that need to be done for city regulations or for, remodeling for the benefit of the new homeowner, right? After 21 days, if you do not change that status, the system automatically switches it to active. So obviously when it's active, everyone can see it, schedule showings, make offers, and all of those things. When we put it under coming soon, you cannot do any showings. You can talk about the property, you can market future showings, but I can't have anyone in the property. So you can have offers come in and have offers accepted during the coming soon process, but you cannot do anything in the coming soon process that is unallowed on the active side, right? So I can accept an offer, but I could still switch it to active and let people see. So you just have to make sure that you are doing everything that is right during the status. This is something that's been highly debated ever since I became a realtor. And, it is useful, but we want to make sure, again, that it's fair for everybody. So that's why we have all of these requirements for the coming soon status. So once we know that we are going to start, gathering listings and becoming an agent on the listing side, right? Because you have teams, you have buyer side, you have selling side, right? We must make sure that we gather all of the correct information. That is important because we also need to make sure that we place the property under the correct category for marketing. No active property can be in the same category more than once, unless it is a single family home that you are either deciding to sell or to lease. So if you have a listing that's coming up, you need to establish what category you are doing first before you put it into the MLS. But you also have to make sure you have all of the correct information. That information is crucial because you want to make sure that you are marketing to the right people, right? You don't want to market a residential home in a mobile home because I can't move a residential property, right? You don't want to put a 5-unit property under a business opportunity because that is completely false, right? That leads to violations, that leads to fines and all of those things. So we have to make sure that we place everything in the right category as well as have all of the correct information. So one thing to keep in mind, this is very, very important. You will see and probably have heard some dramatic stories about showings that have gone wrong pre-pandemic. When you are in the MLS updating information, you need to make sure that you have the property description, which goes to the public, and agent instructions. you want to make sure you know the clear difference between the two, because the property description is what shows up on Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, and all of those other sites, IDX sites, and your brokerage sites. The agent instructions is what only agents and realtors and brokers can see, right? So make sure you know the difference between the two. And when you're in the listing information for the agent information, make sure you clearly put the showing instructions and then make sure that everyone follows them. If they don't follow them, then you can report that violation. But make sure those instructions are clear and you read them before you decide to show a property. It happens all the time. A big example, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the movie Project X, which is a true story. That was one of the first examples of a listing agent placing information in the wrong section. They place everything that's supposed to be in the listing section for the agent information in the property description. So people broke in, had a massive party, caused millions of dollars in damages, and it was responsible by the selling agent. So even though those kids got in trouble, the selling agent was responsible and had to pay for all of the damages that happened. So make sure that not only you have those two clear definitions and descriptions in your property descriptions and placing that when you're doing your listings, when you are showing, you want to show clients properties, make sure you follow the direct showing instructions. Vacant, go direct, call first, appointment only, schedule via showing time. There's going to be a virtual tour between 10 and 3, email or text with asking for information to the link. Make sure that you are thorough in following those instructions. Also, lockbox access, which Karen was talking about, that's your super e-key, or if there's an actual combination lockbox that is there, make sure that you have the correct information on your lockbox so that people know where it is, and hopefully they know how to access it if they have an e-key. If it's just a regular lockbox, make sure that they contact you before to get the combination, not just post it in the agent description, because that's also setting yourself up for a liability as well. Also, if there does happen to be the case where you may have put something wrong in the MLS and they send you an email like you don't have a photo up within a couple of days, or you don't update a status, make sure that you have submitted an email that you consistently check. If you do not consistently check your email and fix the violation quickly, it does not just stop. The violations keep going and the fines keep building depending on the situation. So if you want to avoid necessarily overpaying on a simple violation, check your email and fix it, right? Also, when you upload a listing and you don't necessarily update the listing agreement by putting in a new one, and the listing agreement expires before it's in escrow, that's also a violation. So if that property hasn't sold and you have a 90-day obligation for the listing agreement, make sure a week before you have a new one so that you can avoid that fine. And if you do an auto sale, which is basically you put in that it sells automatically, that is a violation. So make sure that you are doing everything right. Like I said, if you have issues with these, make sure you call the MLS or have your broker help you. So the top 5 violations on the MLS, the first one is a photo of the outside. You can use your phone, just make sure you have a photo that shows a large majority of the house from the outside, because that has to be in within the first 2 days. It sounds very simple, but this happens a lot. Just if you're going to a listing appointment and you get the agreement, as soon as you step outside, take a photo, make sure there's no people in it, make sure there's no signs there. Just take a general photo of the outside and upload it, right? These are very easy things that can be prevented, but it still happens. So make sure that you do that after a listing agreement. You can even, if there's a sign on the side, on the sidewalk of the address, stand right there, take a photo, make sure it saves, and then upload it. And that'll prevent the most common violation. The second most common violation is if you have a professional photographer come in and do photos. Make sure that there's no watermark or anything of that nature. There's no logo. Make sure it's just a regular photo. You cannot advertise your brokerage or your website or your name or your phone number in the actual photo, because that photo goes out to everybody. So it may seem like you're giving yourself a competitive advantage, right? So since this information is for everybody, you don't want to seem like you're doing one thing better than another, giving yourself a subtle competitive advantage. So make sure it's just no branded, no watermark, natural, regular photos. No promotion signs, billboards, open houses for sale or for lease that are there. Again, another common violation is not inputting a listing in time, right? Once you get that agreement signed by all of the decision makers, you could I recommend you going to Starbucks or going right home and inputting it in. And make sure you have the correct date. Make sure that all the information is correct, but input it in immediately so that you don't even subject yourself to this violation and to the fine. Also, make sure that you have all of the correct information and you're not placing information that is prohibited or kind of subjected to what I like to call a protected class. So make sure that you do not put within walking distance, because what if someone cannot actually walk, right? Do not put, within a specific neighborhood, right? Based on ethnicity. That is also a violation. If there is actually a church on the property, you can say that it's a church on the property. Or you could say within a short distance, right? If you want to make use of a landmark like a grocery store, you can put how far the grocery store is. Just do not put walking distance or a short car ride. Make sure that you are putting descriptions that are so basic that a kid can understand what the property is. So we don't want to, subject anyone to any fair housing violations, but we have to make sure that we are doing everything to describe the property in the right way without doing so. If you have questions about protected classes, if your broker can't answer them, you can ask a realtor who's more experienced or ones that have helped in the fight for fair housing, and they'll be glad to help you. And our last common violation is an inaccuracy of information. So it's your responsibility to make sure that you have the right address, the right tax parcel number, the right city, the right zip code. And if you aren't or not unsure of it, look it up, right? You could also look up the information before the appointment, because if you're in the MLS and you type in an address, it'll give you all the information you need. So just make sure that you're doing, your research before you walk into an appointment, so that you can ensure that you are doing the right things to avoid violations. Again, make sure that you use the PED before entering the property, so that you can ensure that you are keeping your client safety and your safety as a huge priority and as the focus. So any property you enter, make sure you submit the PED before that, and even do that if you're going to a listing appointment, so that that seller knows that you are doing whatever it takes to make sure that they are safe too. And also keep in mind that lock boxes, like I said, are not the securest way of keeping keys. That's why the super E key is there. But if you absolutely have to use a lockbox, make sure that it's hidden, right? Make sure that if you're sharing it with a buyer's agent, that they are not sharing that information with anyone else, right? And if you're going to use a lockbox visiting a property, make sure that you shield yourself from other people potentially watching you with the combination, right? We're just focusing on safety for not just you, but for everyone else that could potentially be involved. Our industry is one of the most prone to violence industries outside of cops. So because it's so easy to get a hold of us, access to our information, that we need to do whatever it takes to ensure and lessen that liability. Now, I know this is a lot of information that we have brought to you in this short period of time, but it's something that I encourage you to not be worried by, intimidated by, or stressed out by. If you do these 4 basic things, like I said, after a listing appointment, go to Starbucks and input it into the MLS, or go straight home, gather all information before and after and confirm it, keep everything up to date, right? It's very easy to log in and check on a status. If you get an offer and the offer gets accepted, just, switch it to active under contract. It's about 5 clicks, and make sure you don't ignore compliance emails. So that's, making sure that you have the correct email address that you actively check, 5 to 6 times a day, so that that is not ignored. And make sure you treat everybody fairly, right? The golden rule: do unto others as others would do unto you. If you utilize that, you will be successful, and this won't be a hard business for you in itself, right? So do unto others as others would do unto you. Again, I want to welcome you to the real estate industry. Welcome to West End Gabriel. Make some money, enjoy it, and we have done this pretty early. So I encourage you guys to maybe go ahead and check out some resources that are available to you. So I will open it up for questions. If you have questions, I'm here to answer them. And again, welcome to the Realtor family. Welcome to the industry. If you were just, switching over, coming in, or, welcome to this time. And I hope you guys enjoy it. And congratulations.
Leon, I think we had one question. It says it's from Michael. Oh, they're coming in. Michael Rudis. Any guidance on?
Personally, I do not use the term. I don't use walk scores. Walk score was created by a secondary website that other people started to use. But again, it can be perceived as a slight towards those that have the inability to walk. So, that is part of ADA. So I would not use walk score. I would just say that there is an ease of accessibility to crucial things like grocery stores or the mall. So I would just say ease of accessibility, or a close proximity. I would not necessarily utilize walk score. It's just a term that can put you in, you know, in that, like towing that line for a fair housing violation. Another question is, do we need to upload a copy of the listing agreement? Yes. You do need to upload. Yeah, I would upload a copy to the MLS, keep a copy for yourself, send it to your broker and your transaction coordinator. Depending on how big your office is, once you get an agreement, you can go ahead and give it to your transaction coordinator and they'll do it for you. How does it know whether you put it up within 2 days? When you get a listing agreement, the first thing that is under the listing agreement outside of the title is the date. It is literally the first thing at the top of the page. So if that date says 12/9, right, you have until December 11th. You can't backdate a contract date. You can't backdate or put a future date on it. It has to be that actual date. So that first line literally says the date, and then the next thing says the address and parcel number and the homeowner's names. So you can't miss that effective date of the listing agreement. Unless, right, you are excluding it from the market where you actually have the seller exclusion from the market signed and dated as of that date as well.
Don't see any more questions.
Neither do I. Like I said, one thing, I know you're probably going to push this again, but I would say that you guys should attend the zip form training on Monday so that you can see where everything is. If the listing status on MLS is withdrawn, can the buyer switch to other agent for listing? Yes, but before you even do that, make sure that they have, what's the form called? I think it's called withdrawal of listing, like of listing agent. So make sure that they have in writing that they want to switch the agent. And so before you do anything, make sure that they have in writing that they want to switch the agent so that they can void the listing agreement, because they're going to have to sign a new listing agreement with the new listing agent. So if they don't have it in writing that they want to switch, that agent can come back after you sell the property and still get credit for commission for doing absolutely no work in the transaction. So make sure you have in writing that the client wants to switch their agent, and make sure that that agent terminates the listing agreement so that you can sign a new one, so that you're protected with your commission. If the listing is listed under Zillow and other websites, would it be subject to MLS rules? Yes, it is. Zillow, Redfin, and Trulia have a partnership with our MLS. So anything that is seen there is directly on our MLS, and you can report violations to that. If the current listing agent declined? It's not up to them. It's about what's best for the client. So if the client requests that they want a new listing agent, make sure they get it in writing. And even if it's a 3-month listing period, if they put it in writing that they want to terminate the agreement, that termination of agreement is just like any other contract. That is proof that there is a need and a want to get out of it. So they need to, abide by that want. If they don't abide by that want, I would have the client CC the broker so that the broker can acknowledge it. Even though we run our own business, guys, we're still under a broker. If you don't have a broker, then you're your own broker. But your broker still has to abide by rules, and they're liable if that agent does not make the right decision. So like I said, guys, I encourage you to go to zip form training on Monday. Utilize all the resources that you have, because that's what we're here for. We're here to ensure success, right? That's what the MLS is for. That's what all these other resources are for. welcome to the Realtor family. I know it's a little bit hard and unique in these times, but you still made the best decision. So enjoy.
Thank you all for attending the new member orientation. I will go ahead and mark your attendance if you were here for the full time. Please reach out to the association at membership@WSGVR.com or 626-288-6212 should you have any questions. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.